Learned continents: Antarctica, 0% of humans, 9% of Earth's land, 3 miles deep ice, home of penguins, windiest coldest continent with a treaty system. Antarctica has no indigenous population. If you want a continent to yourself, go to Antarctica. If you want to experience life at Mars, try Antarctica first. Antarctica, the highest and windiest continent on Earth. It is also the coldest. Even in summer, you need to wear thick layers. Almost nothing lives here, although some penguins might waddle past on their way to the sea. Antarctica is Earth's southernmost continent. It contains the geographic South Pole and is situated in the Antarctic region of the Southern Hemisphere. Most of Antarctica is a polar desert. Yes, very little rain falls here. 80% of the world's freshwater reserves are stored there, enough to raise global sea levels by about 60 meters. Yes, if all of Antarctica's ice is melted, the world's oceans would rise by 200 feet or 60 meters. Coastal cities around the world would be covered with water as high as a 20-story building. Imagine what will happen to the beautiful California Highway 101. Between 1,000 and 5,000 people from many countries reside at research stations scattered across the continent. This is as good as saying 0% of humans live here. Climate: summer temperatures along the coast reach the freezing point, 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. In winter, temperatures inland fall as low as -110 degrees Fahrenheit or -80 degrees Celsius. Antarctica is the coldest of Earth's continents. It was ice-free until about 34 million years ago, when it became covered with ice. The lowest natural air temperature ever recorded on Earth was 89.2 degrees C or 128.6 degrees F at the Russian Vostok Station in Antarctica on July 21, 1983. Antarctica is a frozen desert with little precipitation. The South Pole receives less than 10 millimeters (0.4 in) per year, on average. Sunburn is often a health issue as the snow surface reflects almost all of the ultraviolet light falling on it. Given the latitude, long periods of constant darkness or constant sunlight create climates unfamiliar to human beings in much of the rest of the world. The Aurora Australis, commonly known as the Southern Lights, is a glow observed in the night sky near the South Pole, created by the plasma-full solar winds that pass by the Earth. Another unique spectacle is diamond dust, a ground-level cloud composed of tiny ice crystals. It generally forms under otherwise clear or nearly clear skies, so people sometimes also refer to it as clear sky precipitation. Climate change. Some of Antarctica has been warming up. Particularly strong warming has been noted on the Antarctic Peninsula. There is some evidence that surface warming in Antarctica is due to human greenhouse gas emissions. Geography. Positioned asymmetrically around the South Pole and largely south of the Antarctic Circle, Antarctica is the southernmost continent and is surrounded by the Southern Ocean. About 98% of Antarctica is covered by the Antarctic ice sheet, a sheet of ice averaging at least 1.6 kilometers or 1 mile thick. Ice everywhere and icy desert. Its ice cover makes Antarctica the highest of all the continents. Antarctica's average elevation, or height, is more than 6,500 feet, 2,000 meters higher than any other continent on Earth. High mountains rise across Antarctica, but the ice sheet covers most of them. Some mountain peaks and rocky areas poke through the ice. Some areas near the coast are also free of ice. Antarctica's ice is moving slowly toward the coast. Huge slabs of ice border much of Antarctica's coastline. Sometimes, large chunks break off to form floating icebergs. The inland part of Antarctica is one of the driest places on Earth. It gets no rain and very little snow. The ice formed over millions of years. The little snow that fell stayed, because it was too cold for the snow to melt. When new snow fell, it pressed down on the old snow below, and the deeper layers of snow slowly formed ice. The ice got thicker and thicker until it was thousands of feet deep. This process is still going on. Animals. Antarctica's climate is too cold and windy for almost all life. The few plants and animals live near the coast. Antarctica's animals depend on the ocean for food. Penguins and seals spend most of their time in the ocean, but they come onto the ice to have babies. Seabirds also breed along the coast. The ocean around Antarctica is full of animals. Whales, fish, squids, and jellyfish swim in cold Antarctic waters. The larger animals feed on the smaller animals. Politics. Antarctica is governed by parties to the Antarctic Treaty System. 12 countries signed the Antarctic Treaty in 1959, and 38 have signed it since then. The treaty prohibits military activities and mineral mining, prohibits nuclear explosions and nuclear waste disposal, supports scientific research, and protects the continent's ecology. Between 1,000 and 5,000 people from many countries reside at research stations scattered across the continent. Antarctic Treaty System. The Antarctic Treaty and related agreements, collectively known as the Antarctic Treaty System, regulate international relations with respect to Antarctica, Earth's only continent without a native human population. The treaty sets aside Antarctica as a scientific preserve, establishes freedom of scientific investigation, and bans military activity on the continent. The treaty was the first arms control agreement established during the Cold War. Since September 2004, the Antarctic Treaty Secretariat headquarters has been located in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Humans in Antarctica. Between 1,000 and 5,000 people from many countries reside at research stations scattered across the continent. Exploring Antarctica is extremely dangerous. The human body is not built for such cold. At very low temperatures, frostbite can injure skin and other tissues. Even your breath freezes. Explorers must bring all their supplies. They won't find any food in Antarctica. They must carry and build shelters from the cold. Without proper shelter, they will die. Antarctic blizzards make it impossible to see. The blowing snow stings when it hits the face. On overcast days, the sky, snow, and ice are the same white color. Explorers can lose all sense of direction and distance. In the early 1900s, several explorers tried to reach the South Pole. British explorer Ernest Shackleton turned back in 1909 after running out of food. Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen won the race to the South Pole in 1911. He beat British explorer Robert Scott by 5 weeks. Scott died on the way back from the pole. Nearly 30 countries conduct scientific research in Antarctica. Scientists study the ice and the rock beneath the ice to learn about Earth's history. The ice also tells scientists how Earth's climate has changed. Scientists study the plants and animals to find out how they can survive in Antarctica's harsh climate. They also study changes in the fairly clean air over Antarctica to find out how global pollution is affecting Earth's atmosphere. The United States has the largest Antarctic research center at McMurdo Base. Hashtags Continents, Antarctica, home of penguins, windiest continent, coldest continent, Antarctic Treaty System. Learned continents, Antarctica, 0% of humans, 9% of Earth's land, 3 miles deep ice, home of penguins, windiest coldest continent with a treaty system.